Max Sandwich. Today I'm going to be taking a look at TENET Protocol. TENET Protocol is a new blockchain and it's very DeFi friendly. It's pretty much everything that all the good ideas in DeFi are put into this single TENET blockchain. It's pretty interesting, that's for sure. This project was shared with me via my shill list. Link for my shill list is in my profile or in the description of the video or what have you. Now, it's pretty interesting. Like I said, it's a DeFi inspired blockchain, proof of stake blockchain. I do have a flowchart for you to go through and explain most of the ideas that are found within this documentation. I've read through all of this as usual. I went to the Telegram and asked a question, but I did not get an answer yet. So I'm going to just tell you when I don't know the answer to something and so forth. Okay, so let's swing over to the flowchart and let's get this thing done.
If you would like to support the channel, I would suggest you to check out the secretsandwich.xyz. It's the Secret Sandwich NFT project. You can come here, you can mint an NFT, or you can come and check out your NFTs. Okay, so let's get back to it.
Okay, so here we are on the flowchart. Today we have Dollar Bill and his brother Boosted Bill as actors in here. So Dollar Bill has some ETH and some BNB. He's, low risk. He doesn't want to take too much risk, so he uses these tokens and he stakes them in their chains. So he takes ETH and he stakes it somehow into the Beacon chain and gets some liquid staking derivative like Lido Stake ETH or Rocket Pool ETH or any of the other possibilities that he can anchor ETH and all of these things, okay? He takes his BNB, he stakes it, he gets back, anchor BNB or this is Stater BNB, whatever liquid staking derivative he gets, this is what he likes to play. So he's got these tokens, and of course, these chains are printing blocks, giving rewards to the stakers, and these have interest rates based inside them, roughly around usually 4 to 8%, depending on the individual staking platform and the performance of those. So, like all blockchains, like all proof of stake blockchains, TENET's no different. You can take the TENET token and you stake it into the TENET blockchain and you get back a liquid stake derivative. They're calling it TENET. Okay, T is a TENET. Okay, so TENET. Okay. Now, where this goes special, of course, this guy is getting rewards based on inflation as normal, just like over here. The Beacon chain inflates, gives ETH inflation to these people, and the BNB gives BNB inflation to these LSDs as well. Now he has another choice, and that is he can take his TENET and he can VE lock it, okay, up 1 week up to 4 years. So it's the same as VECRV's idea. So like if you have 100 TENET and you lock it for 4 years, you have 100 VE TENET, okay? Now these have quite a bit of uses, okay? So there's also the gas. So every time someone pays gas to write a block to the blockchain to send a transaction, that gas is split 50-50 between the validators and the stakers. So the people who have the TENET as well as the validators, and they share that, right? But the other 50% of the gas is given to these VE lockers. So it can be significant as long as there's a fair amount of traffic on it, okay? So encourages you to lock your staked LSD into this VE contract. Now, this is where it gets interesting, okay? You can also stake any of these liquid staking derivatives. Now, each one has to be added individually through governance. They have the governance. These governance holders over here will have to decide. Yeah, let's allow Rocket Pool, or let's allow WST ETH, or let's allow Stater BNB, or whatever one they allow to stake it in here to also earn the inflation rewards and 50% of the gas to some extent. Okay, they're not as powerful as the TENET, but they help to increase the security by adding more capital into the staking contracts. So they call this something very special. They call it diversified proof of stake concept. So taking these other stake tokens and putting them in there. Now, if you think about it for dollar bill here, dollar bill's already getting his interest rate from the beacon chain or from the BNB chain. So he's always getting the 4 to 6 or to the 8%, whatever that happens to be. And then he stakes his TENET in here, and he gets an additional inflation of TENET tokens as well as 50% of this gas. Now, there's an unbonding period. It doesn't say in the documentation how long the unbonding period will be, but I would assume it would be something like 7 days, maybe up to 24 days or something like this. Okay, moving on. There is also this setting that can be set to 0, but it's called a take rate. And whenever these T tokens or these LSDs are staked here for the T LSD, right? So T rocket pool, then there can be a T rate, a take rate set during the governance proposal to add this. And I believe that the governance can also change this take rate. And that would be some amount of this rewards that are from the original source, the beacon chain, for example, is taken and given to the VE lockers. So of course they're going to have to want to keep it small so that people are encouraged to use it, but they also want to incentivize these people to lock this T tenant up, right? Now, inflation does not go one-to-one, like this T rocket pool ETH is not equal to this T tenant, right? So the T tenant always has a 1, and the LSD has some number set to it, okay, less than 1. So if you look at this formula, you can think about it, but basically like 33% of this inflation and gas will be given to the T rocket if the T rocket is set to 0.0 or 0.5, right? And the T tenet will get the rest, the 66%, because it would be 1, 1. There would be a 1 on the top as well. Okay, so anyhow, so these, although they are getting inflation, they're not as powerful as the T tenet in getting that inflation and that share of the gas rate. Okay. Now, there's another product they talk about, and that is LSDC. Anyhow, LSDC is like their native stable coin. Okay. Now, what does it take as collateral? In the docs, it says at Genesis it will take these tokens, but I do believe governance will allow for the inclusion of other assets in the future. So for example, TWST ETH, T Coinbase ETH, T Anchor BNB. So I assume they're just choosing the ones with the largest market caps, right? And I assume, right? I'm not sure. So these can be staked and used to instead of no, actually it's this T token, right? So you've staked your WST ETH, you've gotten T ETH. Now what do you want to do with this? You can use it to mint this stable coin. Now this stablecoin is built on Liquidity, so it's the same model as LUSD. I have a lot of videos on LUSD. You can watch those if you want to know deeper on how this Liquidity stablecoin works and how it functions. Well, I'll give you a few key points just to go through this quickly. First of all, it's interest-free, just like Liquidity. So when you take these assets and you mint up this stablecoin, it will be interest-free. So you'll have a stablecoin and you won't have to have interest. And in fact, it will have negative interest because these are interest-bearing collateral coins, right? Now, there are some fees, of course. There's a borrow fee and there's a redemption fee, and they scale, okay, based on redemptions. So if lots of people are redeeming LSDC, the redemption fee goes up to a maximum of 5% and then decays back down to a minimum of 0.5%. So there's borrow fee and there's max fee, and there's no repay fee. Now there's a redemption fee, but there's no repayment fee, because redemption is a third party will come along and redeem for your position. So they redeem your position. So again, you want to watch the video on Liquidity to kind of understand the difference between these. But if he wants to repay his debt, there's no fee. But if someone else wants to repay his debt for him, there is a fee. Okay, and these fees go to these VE lockers. In the docs, it says 100% of them will go to these VE lockers. However, there is the stability pool. Again, liquidity built stability pool idea. You can take your LSDC, stick it in the stability pool, and you can earn several things. So it says in the docs that you will earn some of these borrow and redemption fees. However, it also says that it 100% go to the VE locker. So I assume that's a typo somewhere in the docs, and that probably some of it will go here and some of it will go there. The stability pool, why would you put your LASD? You're getting some of these borrow fees and redemption fees, as well as you're getting liquidation fees. So you're getting liquidation. So your LSDC will be used to liquidate bad positions. Now, bad positions are anything under 125% collateral ratio. On liquidity, it's 110%. So they've bumped it up a little bit, but that's because they're using these other assets. Okay. They have several of them. I would assume that's why. Okay. Now remember, these assets have block rewards because they are interest-bearing stablecoins. Now they talk about taking some of these block rewards, 10% if you are using these inside the liquidity, inside the LSDC protocol. So if you take your T token here, one of your T tokens, TLSD tokens, and you mint the stablecoin, then 10% of your rewards will of these block rewards, not the underlying assets, because they have block rewards from here, right? So these 10% of these block rewards will be taken and given to these VE lockers. So you will get less of this, okay? Or less of this black stuff here, okay? And the last thing, there is talk in the docs about a TENET money market, which is like Aave or Compound or Iron Bank, right? And there's also talk of a TENET DEX, so like some sort of like, Solidity DEX or Solidly DEX or Pancake Swap or Sushi Swap or some sort of DEX with gauges. Okay. Now there's a 100% of the fees from these money markets as well as these DEXs go to the VE people, and bribes, because these guys will be the people who vote and on the DEX's gauges when those gauges come into play, right? And that pretty much covers it. That's what I understand. These two little ideas here. There's nothing really in the docs. Just kind of a mention that they will come eventually. So I'm not sure when, if, and how they will come. But that's an additional incentive for people to lock their staked T up. Okay, so it's pretty interesting. This is definitely some built by a team that understands what's going on inside the ecosystems and has taken all of the good ideas that are around DeFi and kind of stuck them together into their own blockchain. Now, it's a new blockchain, of course. So will it have traffic? Will it get use case? That's up for you to decide whether or not this this TENET token will have value or anything. That's not for me to say. That's for you to decide. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate it, and I hope this has been useful, and goodbye.